Welcome to the Women in Wealth podcast, brought to you by Regina McCann HESS, a certified financial planner with over 2 decades of experience. This show is for professional women who want guidance in working towards their retirement vision in learning, building, planning, striving for your dreams, and putting the work in now so that you can pursue your financial independence.
Hello, I'm Regina McCann HESS, president of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Women in Wealth series. Today, I have a new friend with me, and Kelly, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and what you love about what you do?
Sure. Thank you for having me. Yeah, Kelly Gates. I am a professional business executive, growth consultant, strategic consulting, strategic marketing. I've been doing that for most of I won't tell you how many decades of my career, and really, really enjoy it. I've always enjoyed helping organizations, for profit, nonprofit, large, small, figure out their growth path, how best to get there, and how to maintain it,
Hmm.
and then expand on from there. So that's what I really love to do, and I've done that for several organizations. Right now, the company I'm working with, I am Chief Revenue Officer and Chief Ventures Officer. So I have my hands in a whole bunch of different areas in the company. Um, get to help with, go-to-market strategy and business development and sales management and all that on the revenue side. And then the venture side is where I get to play and support ideas that we come up with and brainstorm within the company itself. We might choose to self-fund them. We may choose to productize them and take them out to market for maybe angel funding or venture capital funding or something like that. We may decide just to productize it and use it as another service offering. So that's where I get to play. So I have the BD side of the house that I get to manage, and then I've got the venture side of the house where I get to play. So it's all good.
Wow, that's cool. So you get to like when you get a little bird of one thing, you just go to the other side.
Exactly. Exactly. It makes every day different.
For sure. So what led you to the marketing, the marketing background, the marketing field? What led you there?
That was that was my undergraduate degree
Okay.
at school. My bachelor's degree was, business administration slash marketing. So I've always been in the marketing realm, and my world of marketing is more toward the strategic marketing side of it, business planning, business growth, that kind of marketing versus the creative in terms of, designing a website or
Mhm.
putting an ad together or a brochure. So I'm more on the strategic thinking side of
Mhm.
marketing.
Okay. And then do you focus on like certain niches or certain types of industry or anything?
Not really. I have 18 years of experience as a management consultant, supporting all kinds of different clients, either a Fortune 100 client or business units of Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, all the way down to startups and entrepreneurs seeking funding and putting business plans together and putting them through, pitch rehearsals and that kind of thing. So I really don't have an industry or a particular size of company where I gravitate. They all need some kind of help in terms of their growth, maintaining relevancy to their stakeholders and their customers. And even the big companies, they trip every once in a while and need a little bit of bolstering. So
Wow, that's really cool. And then so what led you down the venture path? Because that sounds like a lot of fun, but also your creative brain has to be there too.
it's a lot of fun, and again, through my consulting days, a few of our clients were just freshly starting out. I would be on the panels and the boards and the selection committees for venture capital fairs in terms of, you know, picking the companies that would be able to present at the venture fair, running them through their pitch practice and their paces and making sure that they were all buttoned up, and putting them basically in the best light possible because they're competing for, investor eyeballs and investor money, right? So you want to be
Yeah.
sure that you're giving them the best advice that you can, so that they can showcase really well. And that's just fun for me. Um, it's something new and different every day. I get to meet really bright, enthusiastic people who have ideas that I would never ever have thought of, but I get to play with them a little bit. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure it's a very competitive area too. Once they bring their idea to light and try to get that funding, it must be very competitive.
It can be. It depends on the space.
Hmm.
And usually the ones that are less competitive, there's a very high bar from a technology standpoint. Sometimes it's a biotech
Mm.
play, or it's a pharma play, or some kind of medical device play. And those can be less competitive, but also they could potentially be higher risk.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So if you were to think about, your career, what have been some of the challenges that you've faced as a professional woman?
Uh, uh, well, in the beginning, when I was younger, fresh out of school, um, it was it was a little bit more difficult. A lot of the organizations that were hiring were male dominated. Um, I um, the I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, so if you want to go back to the venture capital world, a lot of the venture capitalists and the private equity partners are male. There was a time when there were very few and far between female entrepreneurs who were putting business ideas together and making presentations. So it was a lot of times. There were many times I went to networking events and conferences, and I was one of, if it was a group of, 50 or 75 people, there might have been two or three women there. Um, it has changed dramatically since then, which I'm really
Oh,
glad
good.
to see. Um, I go to events now, and there are significantly many more women at these events, younger as well, which is great to see. Many, many more women who are entrepreneurs and starting their companies and looking for funding and looking for support, and at the helm of, of their business as the CEO and the founder and that kind of thing. So having cut my teeth, if you will, in predominantly male-dominated industries or male-dominated sectors, um, you really learn how to, you know, own your own mind and own the room, and make sure that you get heard.
Yeah, yeah. I was just as you were saying that, and I was thinking like how you come to the table so that your voice is
Hmm.
heard. So
Right, exactly.
same, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm in a financial industries tend to be very male dominated, but I'm
That's true
glad,
too.
yeah, glad to see
Yeah.
that you're seeing more women come in to your side of it.
Yeah, I am. It's very refreshing.
Yeah, yeah. So my side. Um, when I came in, it really hasn't changed that much. Now I do see more women uh, at conferences and things like that, but
Hmm.
statistically, the numbers really haven't changed that
Right.
much. So it's like kind of like, all right, come on, ladies, this is it's a great field. It's a great field. Come
Yeah.
on, don't be scared.
Yeah.
But it's always good to see somebody in the room, no matter what industry you're in, somebody
No
in the
matter what
room
industry. Right.
that looks like you, sounds like you, or especially if you're younger or newer in the industry, somebody who's like kind of like been there, done that, and can
Right.
kind of like possibly mentor you, or at least you can see that person and see, well, if they did it, I could do it, right? So that's awesome.
Right. Right. And I do, when it makes sense and it's appropriate, I do try to take young professional women kind of under my wing, if you will, and mentor them. Um, Act more as a sounding board than anything, just but give them someone that they can trust and have as a confidant, or how should I approach this situation, or someone
Yeah,
said this to me, or I need to give a presentation, and how do I make a presentation to this group of executives and come off looking, sounding like I know what I'm talking about, kind of thing. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
really enjoy doing that too.
Yeah, yeah, because it's also one of those things where you're helping the person, get to the next step, and then somebody else might be helping you. So we're all helping
Exactly.
somebody.
Exactly. That's exactly
Um,
right. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So that's a great way to do it. Um, oh, I forgot to ask you if people wanted to learn more about you and what you're doing, how would they reach out to you? Where would they find you?
Through LinkedIn is probably the best way. I
Yeah.
keep that pretty up to date. And that, just send me a what is it called? An in-mail
Hmm.
DM message or something like that. But yeah, connect with me, Kelly Gates. I'm Wilmington, Delaware. If you need to narrow, if I don't know how many Kelly Gates there are on LinkedIn, but Wilmington, Delaware, so that should get you pretty close. Yeah, just LinkedIn with me, and I'm happy to have a conversation and meet as many people as possible.
Yeah, it's always great. It's always great. I love it. And then we met at a networking event. So that's
We
another
did.
great way to meet
We did.
people. And then just following up, that's like I guess, for the younger generation coming out of college. And, a lot of these kids came up through COVID. So that socialization wasn't there and they
Right.
weren't able to get out there and do it, but like doing things like going to networking events and then following up and like connecting on
Yeah,
LinkedIn or doing something like we're doing today.
absolutely.
eh,
Absolutely.
it's a great way to expand your network for sure.
I tell my sales team all the time, get out of the house.
Yeah,
Take someone to coffee, take someone to lunch. It's not a lot of time. It's not expensive. It actually goes a really, really long way,
yeah, it does.
because they appreciate that. Um, and yeah, just go to events and stick your hand out and shake a hand and take a risk, take a chance.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And the worst, well, that's one thing I tell my kids all the time. The answer is no. It's going to be no if you don't ask. So why don't you ask?
Right.
And the worst it can be is no, but you already have a no starting. So just ask.
So what have you lost? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, that has come to bite me in the butt for one or two of, but I still keep doing it and I still keep telling them that and they roll their eyes at me. So there we go. Oh, it's so funny. Um, okay, so getting into the time machine, what do
hmm
you see as your retirement vision?
Wow. Well, right now, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, and it's not like it's physically challenging. I'm not doing, landscaping on a 100-degree day,
Ah,
right? I'm in kind of a, office environment and using my brain and some of my other skills. Um, I don't right now really foresee a retirement date or a retirement age because I can pretty much do what I'm doing for a while, I hope. Um, but I would like, since my husband and I are first-time grandparents, we have a soon-to-be 1-year-old granddaughter. I would like
oh,
to maybe slow down a little bit so that I can spend quality time with her,
yeah.
because she's going to be 18 and off to college in like 10 minutes, and
Hmm.
I don't want to miss that. So a little bit of a slowing down, but not a full stop. And also just being very selective in what I choose to do. So
That's that's awesome.
yeah,
That's a great way to do it. And
yeah.
congratulations on
Thank
being
you.
a grandma. They say that's the best job because you get to
It
play
is.
and cuddle and love and then hand them back.
And then
Hey,
hand
there
them
you go.
back, give them the Skittles and the Mountain Dew, hand them back to mom and dad, and it's all good.
Remember when you were a brat for me? Here, paybacks.
Yep. Yep. It's
That's
paybacks time. Yep.
payback. Oh, that's great. That is great. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And so many people, it's funny with retirement vision. It's like, 20 years ago, it was the grandma sitting on the porch. And now you have like, I never get anybody say, I'm just going to retire and, chill. Everybody is saying different things about, they want to
Right.
keep themselves active, which is
Right.
smart because you have a sense of purpose that's going to help you
Right.
have a more successful and healthy retirement. But there's a lot of people who say, I'm so happy with what I'm doing. I can like kind of scale it down and still do, like take care of the grandkids or go travel and do things like that. So that's awesome to see that difference in, just 20 years, how much everything has done. And then kind of similar to that was, I don't know if you saw this. This is I saw it a couple months ago, and God knows how long it's been out. You remember the Golden Girls on TV?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Blanche and all that. So
Yep.
they did a picture of them, and they were in their 50s, I think, from this picture, and they looked like they were way older. And then they did pictures of Sarah Jessica Parker and Beyonce and all these other, very, very popular artists and actresses. And they're also 50. And the difference
hmm
is staggering. I
hmm
mean, it's great, but it's also a lot of pressure. I'm like, I'm sorry. I can't do that as much, but I'm leaning more that way than, than the Golden Girls. But
Yeah.
that's kind of the parallel to how people are approaching retirement going forward. So it's kind of fun, kind of fun. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. I really
Of
appreciate your
course.
time.
Of course. My
Yeah,
pleasure.
yes. So hopefully we'll see each other at another event coming up soon. And
Yeah, we should. I
yeah,
think the summer might slow down, but in the fall we should definitely run into each other again. That would be great.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I want to thank everyone else for joining us. And I think, our action item today is ask the question. The answer is no until you ask. So ask the question.
Might as well ask
Um,
it.
Might as well. Might as well. All right. And thanks everyone for joining us. Again, I'm Regina McCann Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management. You can follow me at forgewealth.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Forge Wealth, and on LinkedIn, Regina McCann Hess. Go make it a great day.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Women in Wealth podcast. You can watch the founders video I created for you to learn more about me and how I can guide you towards your financial independence at www.forgewealth.com. The information in this podcast is educational and general in nature and does not take into consideration the listener's personal circumstances. Therefore, it is not intended to be a substitute for specific individualized financial, legal, or tax advice. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a final decision. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, and SIPC. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor. Private Advisor Group and Forge Wealth Management are separate entities from the LPL Financial. Our show guests and their companies are not affiliated with nor endorsed by LPL Financial, Private Advisor Group, or Forge Wealth Management.